If your outbound isn't working, the problem might not be your copy. It might not be your SDRs or even your targeting. It might be that outbound should have never been deployed in your business in the first place. That's a hard truth I have to learn in a very expensive way. Not every company should run outbound. In this video, I'm going to give you 3 qualification signals that determine whether outbound will actually compound for you or quietly burn cash and morale. I'm Bob Shu, founder of RevSync. We built an AI-powered outbound and RevOps system for B2B companies. And after working across different industries, different deal sizes, and different growth stages, I've realized something most agencies will never tell you. Outbound will only work for specific companies. Let's start with the first one. Sign 1. Your deal size is way too small. The old belief is simple. If we just send enough emails, we'll make it work. Not really. Outbound is math before it's messaging. Here's what most CROs don't calculate. Outbound has fixed cost. Infrastructure, tools, data, sequencing software, CRM integration, time from SDRs, strategy, iteration cycles. If your average order value is too small, the economics break before momentum builds. I once worked with a company in a space that required high deal volume to hit meaningful revenue. Each transaction was relatively low ticket. On paper, outbound should have really worked. We refined targeting, we tested copy, we changed offers, we iterated sequences, and still, even when meetings were booked, the ROI per deal was too thin to justify the machine. It wasn't an execution problem, it was an economics problem. If your deal size can't comfortably absorb customer acquisition costs and still leave margin for scale, outbound becomes a treadmill. You're sprinting to stay in place. And here's a simple test. If your average deal size is under 5 figures and you don't have a strong upsell or lifetime value behind it, outbound will be an uphill battle. Can it work? Maybe. Will it be efficient? Rarely. Outbound is best when one closed deal justifies an entire month's outreach engine. If that's not true in your business, you're forcing the wrong growth lever. Now, let's move to sign 2. You don't have product market fit yet. This one stings founders. Outbound does not create product market fit. It scales proven demand. If you're still trying to figure out whether your ICP actually cares, whether your messaging resonates, whether your offer converts consistently, outbound will only magnify confusion and your losses. I've seen founders treat outbound like a validation experiment. Let's blast 10,000 emails and see if people respond. That's not strategy, that's just noise. When outbound works, it feels like pouring gasoline on embers that are already lit. You already have deals closing, you already have testimonials, you already have clarity on who buys and why. If you don't have that, outbound becomes expensive feedback. And I learned this the hard way. We had a client engagement where we poured in effort, changing targeting multiple times, adjust positioning, wrote copy, tested angles, but the underlying issue wasn't deliverability or messaging. The market wasn't buying into the product. Continuing would have been a lose-lose. They'd keep paying, we'd keep iterating, results would stay inconsistent, and that's when you have to be honest. Outbound cannot fix a product that hasn't found its market yet. If you're still guessing at your ICP, refine that first through warm channels, partnerships, or founder-led sales before installing a full outbound engine. Now, let's talk about sign number 3. You don't have a real sales motion just yet. This one is more operational. Outbound is not just a lead generation channel. It's an extension of your sales process. If you don't already have a defined sales motion, discovery, qualification, objection handling, close, then outbound will amplify chaos. One of the biggest leverage points in our system is mining sales call transcripts. We analyze close won calls to find out real objections, real turning points, and real language buyers use. Then we build outbound copy around those insights. But if you don't have transcripts, if you don't have consistent deals closing, if you don't have a repeatable sales structure, what are you scaling? Outbound without sales maturity is like building a highway to a warehouse that hasn't finished yet. Traffic shows up, but nothing moves efficiently. In my experience, companies around or above 2 mil revenue mark are typically ready. They have sales history, they have patterns, they have data. Below that, it's often still founder-led, selling, and experimenting. There's nothing wrong with that stage, but it's not the stage that you should bring on outbound. Now, let me zoom out and tell you why I'm giving you this information. Because most agencies will take your retainer whether outbound is a fit or not. They'll blame copy, they'll blame timing, and they'll blame your offer. But sometimes the best move is saying this lever might not be right for you. That doesn't mean your business is broken. It means growth has phases. Outbound is a scale lever, not a discovery lever. Here's the before and after shift I want you to see. Before, you assume outbound is a mandatory growth channel because everyone else is doing it. After, you evaluate outbound like an investment. Does your deal size justify it? And does your product already convert? Does your sales team have a repeatable motion? If the answer to those is a yes, outbound can be a compounding asset. But if the answer is no, forcing it will drain time, confidence, and money. So here's what I do. If I were in your seat, I run a brutal internal audit. What's your true average deal size? How many deals have you closed in the last 90 days without outbound? Can your sales team articulate the top 5 objections and how they overcome them? If those answers aren't solid, I would pause. You gotta fix the basics first. Now, if you've gone through this mentality and realized outbound actually is a fit, but your execution hasn't matched the potential, that's where systems really matter. Clean CRM data, clean ICP definitions, omnichannel integrations, predictive scoring, message market alignment pulled from real sales calls. If you want us to assess whether outbound is the right fit for you and your business, book a quick chat with us and we'll break down exactly what's right and what's wrong. And if it's not right, we'll tell you. And if you want to see how we recovered 30% of lost TAM for a client by fixing their outbound infra instead of just tweaking the copy, watch the next video. Outbound is powerful, but only when the foundation can support it. If you ignore these signals and signs, it won't fail because you executed poorly. It'll fail because it never should have been deployed in the first place.